Why do you do street epistemology?
I think it's a few reasons. The big one was just that I saw it as a way to have conversations with people about important things, things people will often, because they're important, they'll get heated about it, and people will get upset and they'll get offended, and the entire conversation breaks down and just becomes an argument and like a shouting match. And I saw it as a way to have those conversations with people in a non-confrontational kind of collaborative way. And I think we really need that really bad. You could say the last 4 years, you could say the last 7 years, you could say the last 10, 15 years. I don't know. It seems like as as my life's going on, the ability of people to have civil discussions with each other has deteriorated. And that, I mean, I could be wrong about that, but that's kind of what I saw. And so that's the big thing is it's a great process for listening to somebody, making sure they feel heard, making sure you're understanding what they're saying, and then the ability to walk somebody through like a critical thinking process to possibly get them to reflect on their beliefs. To me, that's kind of like the icing. That is, I guess, part of the goal. But I think for me, even if through the course of an interview, my interview partner never seriously reflects, well, I would be disappointed, but I think I would still have accomplished some of the main goals that I have, the things that drew me to doing this, which was that non-confrontational, peaceable, civil discussion where people feel heard and I get an opportunity to understand somebody else and their perspective. If somebody winds up changing their mind, cool. If they don't, that's also okay. Sometimes people I interview, they do move on their confidence on things. Sometimes they go up, sometimes they go down. I do like that because I think that shows a willingness to change one's mind and an openness. So I always applaud that and feel kind of good about that just because I think it's important to be open to new information and be willing to take information on board and not being dogmatic in the things we believe. But like I said, I think that a lot of that stuff to me, at least, is icing. Just being able to talk about these things and no and not have people blow up at each other in like damaging relationships. I think that's the big thing. And it's just a really good practice for me. It's a really good practice for me to be able to do that so that if I find myself in kind of a difficult conversation, I've got some tools, some skills that I can fall back on.
Why do you think it's important to have conversations with people that you disagree with?
Two main reasons, I guess. One, there are always going to be people you disagree with on all kinds of different topics, and some of them might be family, loved ones, friends, right? And so being able to have those conversations, I think, is just good because you're gonna have them sometimes, right? We've all been at like Thanksgiving or whatever, and somebody said something, and you're like, "Uh," and you don't know whether you should say anything, and sometimes somebody says something, and then things get kind of heated or whatever, right? So I think those conversations are gonna happen. So that's part of that. They're just gonna happen. So being able to have them in a more productive way, I think, is big. And the other one is just that's a learning opportunity. Somebody who has a stance or belief that I don't have, it doesn't mean that they're wrong and I'm right. Being able to have those conversations might mean that I'll learn something that I might change my stance on something. And I always want to be open to learning more. I love learning, and having these talks with other people is one way that I could possibly do that.